Hey team, welcome back to the channel, man. I'm stoked to see you, celebrating my DD-214 in hand. I'm a free and clear civilian, and man, there's no way they're calling this dude back. And I could celebrate this time by recounting stories of my career or whatever, but may talk about some stuff. But what I really wanted to do was to recount some of the things that I said as a first sergeant. As you know, I spent 5 years across 3 different companies, and you can imagine the number of dudes who needed something, particularly a kick in the ass, right? In fact, I have a whole skull full of patches, right? Full of them, of dudes that I kicked in the butt, right? And kicked out. So when you're dealing with the HMFIC, that's the head motherfucker in charge. Warning, by the way, this content is going to have some storied language, if you will. So if you're a snowflake, you're easily offended. If you're a 17, 18-year-old specialist out there, maybe you're a fuzzy private, and you're still trying to figure out what gender pronoun to use, this video is probably not for you, okay? We got that? Are you gone now? If you haven't left yet, go ahead. Go ahead and leave. It's okay. You don't have to keep watching. But not everything that I've said over my course as an NCO is vulgar. I will tell you that I was a lot more vulgar when I was a sergeant than I was as a first sergeant. And that's not because I was concerned about my career or investigations, because if you're in a leadership position, you're going to be investigated. What I made sure of was that I treated each individual person the exact same way. And that's why you'll always hear first sergeants say things like gents. I'm talking to a company of 150. There's mixed genders, like actual females and males in the ranks. And I'll come out and hold my formation. And, all right, gents, here's what we got going on today, right? I'm talking to everybody the same. You see that? And nobody's freaking offended. Ink stick, right? Grab your ink stick. That's a pen. I mean, that's nothing simple or nothing crazy, right? But it's something that I've said quite a bit. That's a pickup from my time in the Marine Corps. The one thing that all of my soldiers wanted to hear at 0630 after Reveille was zonk. Now, zonk, if you don't know, you say that and people on profiles with no legs will start running away as fast as they can, because that's telling everybody that they can go away, like we're not going to do PT, we're done for the day or whatever, right? That is not a word that I used. My fault, you're bad, right? Sometimes you give some purpose, direction, and motivation for somebody to go accomplish the mission and improve the organization, and things, your words go too fast. People start moving in the wrong direction at the end of the day, right? We didn't have the foresight to see the second and third order of effect for the consequences of our actions. And people waste their time, they waste their energy, they waste their effort, they have a bad day, they cry and write their congressman. So that's where phrases like, hey, my fault, you're bad, comes in, right? I did it, I'll take responsibility, and it was laid on you, all the hardship that you had to endure for doing your maintenance or cleaning your weapons or unloading the Connex 20 times, or showing up at 4:30 to draw weapons when we have a range and we have to go hot at 10:30 or whatever it is, right? Quit freaking crying. In fact, quit cupcaking and lollipopping, right? This is a phrase that I picked up in Hawaii with one of my battle buddies, Abear. And it was just something that we said, hey, why don't y'all quit freaking cupcaking and lollipopping? What do you mean by that? Like, if I told you, there would probably be an investigation. These are encoded words, if you will. You can look up both of these words in some urban slang and begin to get some inkling of what we're talking about here, which you can do if you want. But do it after the video. This is all one big clusterfuck. Clusterfuck. It's a word, a phrase that first sergeants have used since the dawn of time. If you have seen one, you know what it is. And if you haven't seen one, you need to open up your eyes. Because all you have to do is look at the person making decisions. Nothing but a little shitbag. Just a big turd. Right? Shitbags and turds. I use these words, I use them for everybody. I use them for everybody. But it's sometimes a term of endearment. Oh man, you're just a little shitbag. Oh, look at the little shitbag. He didn't know what he's doing. You're just a little turd. You're just a little turd. Wait until you grow up into a big turd. Go eat your Wheaties. What in the actual fuck? This phrase is kind of reserved, well, really, it's good for all times, right? I walk into a command and staff, and some staff member says something stupid, degrading my company, my commander, my soldiers, whatever. I just look over across the tables. What in the actual fuck did you just say? And then the battalion commander and the battalion command sergeant major look at Stoker like he's weird or off the chain or whatever, which I am, and I was, right? It's also good for moments when people just absolutely destroy something that was too easy, right? There's another phrase for you, man. It's too easy to get done. Like, what in the actual fuck have you been doing? Get it together. Man, I've got 4,856 ways to fuck up your life. 4856, if you didn't know, is the form for a counseling statement. And, you know, there was, people failed to understand the value of a counseling, especially if you have first sergeants who have skulls like mine, right? All I need as a first sergeant to help provide some remediation and or, you know, non-judicial punishment for somebody, which, by the way, first sergeants don't do, but we facilitate getting it there, is I need some documentation. I need something on that 4856. Now, some soldiers, all they need is to do some push-ups, right? But some need to understand what's going on. And a simple counseling statement that says you failed to meet this or to perform this task to standard or whatever, and here's what we're going to do about it, and it worked or it didn't work. Once I have that, and then I have another one, I really don't even need another one. I can do it with just one. But the gravity of the situation may need to be a little bit heavier, if you will. But once I have two, now I'm starting to see a pattern here. So maybe I need to do an Article 15, some non-judicial punishment. And I can literally take money out of your bank, bust you down, make you strip the floors, paint the rocks, rake the dirt. Oh yeah, raking some dirt. It would behoove of you to listen to what the first sergeant has to say, gents. Right? Behoove. It's a phrase that first sergeants love. I don't particularly love it. I've used it a few times, but it's just not one that I used all the time. A little shit stain. I've used that phrase a few times for some folks. One of which was for somebody who had shit-stained drawers up in their wall locker, I found during an inspection. I'll share that story another time, but when somebody's just acting like a turd, it's just another phrase for turd, right? You little shit stain. Don't be a shit stain. Hey, you're out of my will. There's a phrase that I've used a few times when somebody did something stupid, and sometimes it was just in jest, right? Somebody does something stupid. Hey, man, you know what? You're out of my will. Somebody does something great. Hey, you know what? You're in my will. I'm going to put you in my will. You're back in my will. You know, just something dumb. You shut your freaking cock holster. Nothing but a fuck stain. Yeah, I've said it. Team, I hope you laughed a little bit and enjoyed the time as I reminisce on some of the things that I've said over the course of my career. I hope it was an out-freaking-standing video. That's another word conglomerate that I've used over the time. You know, sometimes you get into a place of leadership, right, in an elevated position, and sometimes your head gets to you. Sometimes you think, and this is what happens a lot, right? This is soldiers' biggest complaint about first sergeants, is we hold a formation and we just stand there and we talk about everything. And then the commander comes up and says his words and his piece, and then the first sergeant comes back out, and I just want to reiterate about what the commander just said. I mean, sometimes we just need to shut up and go to work. But the problem is, you see, with that perspective, is that freaking ghosts running around here. The problem is, dudes in the Army, in the military in general, don't work, right? I mean, really work all day. What they do is they freaking cupcake and lollipop, right? They sit in the vehicle doing their maintenance, playing on their freaking phone. Instead of doing X, Y, and Z, they're smoking and joking and playing on their phone. Probably busting a nut somewhere. Like, the military is a super easy life. So if your biggest complaint is that somebody's talking too much, well, maybe we all need to look in the fucking mirror and improve our own foxholes and make ourselves better so that we can do gooder, right? You got a couple more phrases there. Team, I appreciate you guys, man. Leave some comments down below for some dumb things you've said or heard said, and we can continue to keep this conversation rolling. As always, until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.